I was surrounded by a lot of new coaches. It was a round table. There were about probably 3 other people at the table. I don't really remember who was at my table because I was doing my best to make sure that I didn't look up, that nobody saw me. I was a fairly new coach, and it was at kind of a retreat that I was attending, and we were told to sit down. We had a huge white billboard in front of us with markers, and we were supposed to draw out our why. Easy enough, right? When I barely glanced, I could see like some people were, scribbling all over and desperately writing, and I literally had nothing to put on the paper. I remember feeling super defeated, like something was wrong with me. Because obviously something was. I was the only one sitting there uncomfortable. And they kept talking about you need a why that makes you cry. Have you guys heard that before? Some of you guys have that why, right? Well, I didn't. And I honestly just sat there tearing myself down inside my head like I often do and did. And I ended up finding the why that made me cry, and it was that assignment. I went into the bathroom and I started crying because I didn't have a why that made me cry. And I wanted to start with that story today because I think so many times, I talk to a lot of coaches and I try to see, okay, what keeps people from starting, or what keeps people from succeeding, or what keeps people from staying? And I find a lot of times it's 1 of 2 answers. It's either that they don't think they have what it takes. And that is exactly where I started. So I think too many times we think that's the thing that should hold us back when that's the reason to be here. So when I began, a lot of times you can see the accolades now of things I may have accomplished, but that's not who I am. That doesn't define why I'm here. But instead I wanted to share with you guys a little bit more of the journey of where I came from, because to me that's a lot more inspiring, and that's going to be a lot more helpful to see to where you can go with this. Literally when I started, some of you guys might know my story, but I'm just going to repeat the key amazing points. I literally bought my first at least 3 programs off eBay. Can I get a shout out to any eBay buyers? Because I'm a deal freak and there's no way I'm paying full price for anything. So, of course, I shopped on eBay and I actually got really excited. For anyone that knows, the guy totally messed up his sale thing, and it said it was for curtains, but then in the fine print it said Chalene Extreme, and I was like, oh my gosh, I so have this guy. I think I got it 99 cents because he didn't want to get a bad rating. Sorry, Chalene. But let's see, I got P90X, I got Chalene Extreme, and I went on to Insanity. So I ended up getting into month 2 of Insanity. Has anyone ever made it to month 2 of Insanity? So you know that 55-minute workout where you're like, oh, I couldn't find my life in 30, but now something's supposed to happen in 55. Well, during that time was actually one of the roughest times in my life up to that point. And it was only then that I realized why I was doing that program. So I was literally doing it totally wrong, which is really funny that it ended up being an Insanity workout, because I actually was wearing 2 knee braces everywhere I went because I was doing Insanity, and how else do you do it unless you wear knee braces? So I was a waitress full time, and the wear and tear on my body, and I guess just jumping totally wrong. In a proper form, it can require knee braces. So, but simultaneously, I wondered later, why was I continuing with this program? And what I realized was that my life was falling apart, and that was going to be the one thing that I wasn't going to allow to fall apart on me. That was the one thing I could control. So the moral of most of this is when I started this journey, I was a complete hot mess. And I literally reached out to what was called a free coach. Now, I had never met this person. I signed up for the free account because on my little P90X I bought on eBay, it said Tony Horton would chat with me if I created an account. And I thought chatting meant talking. So I was like, well, that's weird, he'll talk with me, okay. And he never called. And then I was in a chat room, which I thought those were already extinct back then. So I was like, okay, well, that's cool. So I got a free coach. Now, she would reach out to me occasionally, and of course I would never respond because she's not Tony. So it was until I started needing help that I actually reached back out to her. Now, don't get me wrong, I 100% still anticipated the person on the other end was not the sweet lady named Julie. It was definitely a hairy man that I probably shouldn't be communicating with, but I really needed help. So she told me that I should drink Shakeology. Now immediately, I don't know about if any of you guys experience this, you're like, all right, like a shake person, she's a weirdo. Probably is a lady, she's a weirdo. But I was desperate enough. So literally, I started my journey buying a program off eBay, buying a shake I didn't want to drink, doing a program I was doing totally wrong and not even getting results. So I thought, and went on to create literally more than I could have ever imagined. So, as if that wasn't a great enough start, now I'm in the bathroom crying because I don't have a why, and apparently that's what successful coaches have, and how am I ever going to be successful if I can't even think of a reason of why I'm doing this? But what I realized is I heard a quote later on down the road that says, pain pushes you until a vision pulls you. And that was exactly what was happening with me, is the pain was pushing me. So I wasn't at the place yet where I could have a vision of the future, of a hope for more, of something better or different. I simply knew that I didn't want to stay where I was. And I think sometimes we underestimate that, because that is a powerful force. And typically in life, if you're here, or if you're a coach, or if someone's joined you, if they're a customer, they probably have at least a pain in life that they would like to escape from. So that was what pushed me in the beginning. I can't say it got better, I'm crying in the bathroom. I'm like, I guess I suck as a coach. And, at least I'm drinking this shake that I don't want. But I did go on to actually like the shake, and it did, well, one more little side note, I actually only bought the shake because we have the bottom of the bag guarantee. So for those of you that aren't mentioning the bottom of the bag guarantee, it worked on me, and I literally cleared out a part of my pantry to put the box in so I could make sure that the second I finished the bag, I could put it back in and get my money back. So that's totally me. And then 2 weeks in, I did feel a difference in my body. She also told me to sign up as a coach, which same thing. I'm like, I don't know what that is because I'm still not convinced you're a lady. But she said I would save money if I kept it, and I was cheap. So I'm like, well, I don't think I should buy this on eBay because it's like food and that's weird. So I'll just keep it and I'll be a coach in case I don't return this box that's in my perfect spot. Well, I also got to be a part of a team, which is why I actually invite everyone to my team versus just to my challenge group. And it's because in my normal life, I didn't have support, I didn't have community, I didn't have people that encouraged me and uplifted me. So literally within 2 weeks' time of putting nutrients in my body where I thought I was eating healthy and being surrounded by people that seemed happy, I realized, okay, the belief I had in this shake, which so far that's really the only belief that I had in anything, was not convinced I should be drinking this. It started to change. But then what I found over time is that everything changed. And that's what I want to focus on today with you guys, is really about what kind of coach are you? Because I think we can get so sucked into the trainings and into, everything you attend. I don't want to talk about any tactics today. I don't want to give you advice on, how to post or how to follow up or even how to invite. I want to give you the value of knowing what kind of coach are you. Because when I started, once again, I thought I had to have a why. Okay, therefore, since I don't, I must be a bad coach. Then what happens? The next assignment. I'm just going to destroy all of my coach training right here. Elevator speech. Has anybody ever heard of an elevator speech? Right? Oh my gosh, you want to see me completely shut down? Okay, I forgot to mention, I didn't even know I was in multi-level marketing. And I was actually most likely to succeed in high school, which made my dad like the proudest person ever. And then I was a waitress. I was a college graduate waiting tables. And if anyone has any clue what a proud dad does when he finds out his college graduate most likely to succeed, valedictorian, graduated with honors, is a waitress, doesn't go well. So now I'm like, oh, and now I'm in multi-level marketing. Like, I just thought it couldn't get worse. So I literally decided, I can't tell anybody that I know that I'm doing this, which I'm not really sure how that works in network marketing. That's why I started this journey. So y'all should be very encouraged if you have anything working for you right now. But this is why what kind of coach you are matters, because I went from, okay, what is your why, to an elevator speech. You have to tell someone in 30 seconds or less what you do. And so what happens, I don't know if it's other, maybe this just happened to me, but as soon as I heard that, I thought, okay, And this is how you know there's a problem. I thought, okay, what do I do? I help people live healthy, fulfilling lives while doing online fitness programs. Okay, I'm like, or I'm a marketing professional that helps people match their goals with their... Okay, now do you notice every time I did it, my voice changed? Yeah. Because it's cheesy. That's why I would never say that. So all of a sudden, like, I'm going to walk around and be like, hello, I'm Jessica, I'm a Beachbody coach, and I'm blah, 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 blah. And so what happened was, I had this perfectly written out elevator speech, and I was told, like, to give it to people. And, and then I'm like, well, where's this elevator? And I'm like, okay, what if, when the door closes, if there's a lot of people, it's going to be weird if I just blurt it out like I was taking it maybe too literal. But the point was I was getting more uncomfortable because the kind of coach I wasn't the kind of coach I had to be. I was maybe doing what other people, of course those are helpful tips, but I was putting myself in this box of A plus B equals C because I'm a very literal person, obviously. And that didn't have to be the case. So what I've learned now, which I wish I knew then, was you don't have to do those things. You determine what kind of coach you are, and ultimately, to me, the kind of coach I chose to be was Jessica. And the difference there is Jessica, I'm never gonna quit being Jessica. So there's never a decision of, am I going to stop being a coach? Well, that would mean I'm gonna stop being Jessica because this is who I am, because this is what I do, because this is what I believe in. And that's the difference. When I started, like I said, I didn't have a vision. I only had pain pushing me. But what if I would have just gone and shared the pain I was escaping from and said, you know what, I found a thing that seems to be working for other people, and like maybe it's gonna work for me too, so this is what I'm doing. That would have been way more effective than, I am a marketing online person with online fitness programs. Have you heard of P90X? No, that's horrible. That was like my nightmare. So I think that's the key. So besides, to me, the other big fear I come across with people either deciding to coach or new coaches or people being held back by their success, whether it's that they don't think they have what it takes, which was 100% me, and there's still days that I feel that way in many areas, but it's that you're afraid to fail. Now, I'm also a perfectionist and a recovering perfectionist. That hurts to say because it doesn't sound as good. But here's the thing that I know and that I actually totally embrace now is failing. And so when people tell me, you know what, I'm not sure I can do this, I'm afraid to fail, I'm like, well, you are. You're 100% going to fail. You're only going to succeed if you fail. So if that's holding you back, if that's stopping you, then until you get okay with that or realize, you know what, I can fail and that's going to be okay, then you're going to forever be held back. I remember I heard Dr. Phil, it was a long time ago, say once that perfectionism is actually like your ego, because for some reason you think you should be perfect. Whereas you don't think anything, you get like the world's not perfect, nothing's gonna be perfect, but for some reason you think you should be. And so I always think of that because I'm like, well, I don't want to be that person. Like that's not really how I don't feel like I'm better than everybody and I should just be the one perfect person. So every time I try, whenever I get stuck at that roadblock, I always kind of think of that quote because that immediately is like, that's not who I want to be. So it helps me get back on track. So I actually had a friend, he's actually my real estate partner, which, hello, I'm a real estate partner. Thanks, Beachbody. I thought that was really crazy myself, all that has happened with this company. He told me that actions are symptoms of what we truly believe in. And that really resonated with me. Actions are symptoms of what we truly believe in. So that's why I want you to decide what kind of coach are you, because your actions will show you, but they're really just symptoms of what you believe in. So guess what? If you're not inviting, it kind of shows you what kind of coach you are. If you are not doing your workout, it shows you what kind of coach you are. If you're not reading your personal development, your actions are symptoms of your belief, and that's why you have to decide. And so whatever it is that's holding you back, like I said, what was holding me back was I thought I had to become this other person instead of realizing all I had to do was commit to showing up and doing what I needed to do for my life. And along the way, the lessons I learned, they were just going to translate into my business. I didn't have to become this other thing or this weirdo. Well, I was already weird, but it had to be like a different weird. So I have 3 points that I want to cover today. And I don't really have like a title for these 3 points, but I usually just do these 3 things. And I promise, like I said, they're not tactics. It's not like the magic script that's going to make everybody join your challenge group, but it's literally the things, because what I've always done also in this business is I've realized that you can parallel your fitness with your business, because results are results. And the same behaviors that you apply over here, you can apply over here. So if some of you are having awesome physical results, well, your business should be booming because you're just not making the connection or doing the same things. Or opposite, if your business is booming and you don't have the physical results, it's because for some reason you're not applying the same things over there. So number one actually comes from one of my husband's mentors named Garrett J. White, and it is stop stopping. And it sounds really simple because, I mean, that's the same word. But if we stop stopping, can you imagine what would happen if we just stopped stopping? How many times do we derail our results in anything by falling off the wagon? Like, I don't even know, where is this wagon that everybody's on? At Summit, I actually wanted to bring a wagon out and burn it up, like to set it on fire, but they wouldn't let me. But if we just stop stopping, you can imagine what could change. So we just had Hurricane Irma come through Florida, and thankfully in Jacksonville, it ended up not being category 5, it ended up being about a 3 when it hit us. But I have these beautiful planters that my husband made. He wasn't very happy about it, but he did it. I found them on Pinterest, which I actually don't ever go on Pinterest. I'm not like the Pinterest person, so don't judge me. But they were wooden planks, so it's literally like wooden planks, and then there's succulents in between each row. And I needed 5, because who wants 1? Dare to dream. So he made 5, and they are screwed onto our wall. So of course, with this hurricane, I mean, I feel really bad, because I mean, we should be caring about, people's lives. But I'm like, my succulents. Like, I know you're not gonna make those for me ever again. So we need to figure out how to save the succulents. And he's like, for one, they're also it's very heavy because it's filled with dirt. And I work out, but I use 10 pounds. So he's like, you can lift it. And I'm like, no, I can't. Then we end up getting a fight because I'm afraid I'm going to drop the succulents. It's going to be my fault. And, now we're going to get divorced because we're just trying to save the succulents. And so he had his drill, but I'm like, well, let's wait to make sure it's coming here because if anyone lives in Florida, they always say it's coming there and then it never actually comes. So we're like waiting till the final hour. We're like, it's raining. We're going to get the ponchos for the succulent drill. So anyways, I was watching the succulents every other hour. But what was amazing is actually where they were positioned. It didn't get too much of because they're positioned a little bit in a pocket. And anyways, it was amazing. So when the storm ended, all of my succulents survived. And I started thinking, so every day in my business, because like I said, what kind of coach do I want to be? I want to be Jessica. So every time I'm pretty much doing anything, I'm like, where can I find a lesson in this? So I'm sitting by my succulents. I sound like a weirdo. And I'm like, oh, the succulents. I do have friends, I promise. They're succulents and they're really pretty. And so I started thinking, like, how can I apply these succulents to my business? And stopping. Okay, I started thinking, be a succulent. I shared this with my team, so some of them already know, and they're becoming succulents. Just my friends. So, but the point was, so a succulent, the reason why I have succulents is because I can't grow anything. Everything dies, but that's like the one thing that you apparently don't do anything for, except make sure it doesn't get in a hurricane. So, but what I thought about was, how many times in our business, and this goes with the pain push you or the vision pull you, when the storm comes, when your back's against a wall, I feel like you have one of two natural reactions. And that is either you fight, right? How many of you guys, when your back's against the wall, that's when you're like, I'm ready, I'm here, let's go. Whereas other people, when the storm comes, you go in your hole, you turn the lights off and you suck your thumb in the corner and you just want someone to like pet you. Neither is wrong, it's just who you are, right? Like that's just your natural reaction. But the succulent in the storm weathered the storm, but then also on the beautiful sunny day, the succulent survives. So I think that's the key to coaching, that's the key to stopping, is be the succulent. Because when your back's against a wall, You have to show up, and when it's a bright and sunny day, because guess what else? Then the people who thrive and struggle, when there's no struggle, they take the day off. You know, I'm not saying camp day off, but I'm saying like not literally. But you've got to learn how to show up. That's, you know, kind of like the when you feel like it, when you don't. But when you are the succulent, when your back's against a wall, you're going to do what it takes. And on the good day too. Because odds are one of them more naturally comes to you, and the other one might be a little more challenging, but both are key to your success. So, point number 2, now that we're going to stop stopping. Decide to stop deciding. Try to make it really easy for you guys, because I was in college once and not making it difficult. Okay, so decide to stop deciding. This was something very powerful for me in my journey, because yes, I am a product of the product. I have completed, you know, programs pretty much every day for 7 years, and I only follow the program. And let me just do a side note. I follow the program on purpose because I want to tell other people I follow the program. So it's very easy for me to say you need Shakeology, you need a program, and you need to follow it, because that's all I know. That's the only way I know how to get results, and so that's the only way I can help other people get results. So if they come to me and say, you know what, I don't want Shakeology, it's easier for me to say, well, then I really can't guarantee what's going to happen, because I've never had results without Shakeology. So, I mean, of course, that's up to you, but if you're trusting me with your results, and this is what we're going to do, because this is what I do, and I want to help you in the way I've been helped. But when I decided to stop deciding what that meant, was I was still doing my workout every day, and I'm sure some of you guys do this, where you're like, when am I going to work out today? And you're like, okay, well, I can do it now. And then you drink your Energize, and then you do like some other things. You're like, well, maybe I can do it later. And then you drink some more Energize. Or then you're like, you know what, I'm going to do it later tonight. And then all day you're like, okay, well, could I move my workout? Maybe I could do double tomorrow, because now it's getting late and I got other stuff to do. And you know what, then I ate. No, I ate, so I can't work out, because then I got to wait for it to digest, so I don't have time for later. Well, maybe I should just do, you know, is there a 15-minute one in there? So what I realized was I was wasting so much mental energy on deciding. So I'd already decided, but then I decided to decide again and again and again all day long. Can you imagine how much freedom you're going to have in your brain when you just decide to stop deciding? And instead, you know, we say decide, commit, succeed. One of my favorite mentors, Tim S. Grover, the author of Relentless, which happens to be my favorite book. He says, it was really interesting because I saw on a slide, he had decide, commit, succeed, but he had it a little bit different. And it was decide, commit, act, succeed, repeat. And I was like, oh, took it to the next level. So decide, commit, act. So when you decide to stop deciding, it's because you've just decided, now you're just gonna go act. And when all of a sudden I gave myself that mental freedom, because honestly, the biggest part of my journey has been my mindset. And obviously that's what we're here talking about today, because that's what's going to keep you in the game. And to me, that's what's going to make the biggest difference in your life. Than a tactic that can be learned, that's going to be changed, than a why even that makes you cry. So lastly, because that's the time, like 11:49, and I have till,
wow.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you. The last one is chase the challenge, and this one is chase the challenge. This one is the biggest, not the biggest, I mean, they're all important. They're all going to be helpful, but this is the one that I learned from Shaun T. So, does anybody here love Shaun T? I see you, Lori. Okay, so I love this, chase the challenge, because once again, this is to me something that holds people back. You know, Carl says do the hard things, which we've heard before, right? But I think chasing the challenge is like taking do the hard things to the next level, because not you're going to do them, you're going to chase them. And this is actually what made the biggest difference in my life, and this is literally why I'm here, and this is why I'm successful, and I can say that confidently, and I don't doubt that a bit, because I have chased the challenge. When I started this journey, I was doing insanity because my life was so challenging and I felt like I was failing there. I wanted to defeat this one thing, right? Well, I think a lot of times we think we can only be a coach because we haven't really figured out what kind of coach we want to be on our good days or when life is going good. Well, when the kind of coach I want to be is Jessica, I've got to do that every day. So I've got to show up when the days are bad too. But the thing is a lot of people don't share that stuff. Or when we do, it's just as like a decorated Facebook post. But literally, when I started this journey, I started with, Beachbody, but Shanti was the one that really taught me through the screen, that I could do hard things. Because what happened was, when I felt so defeated, all of a sudden I felt worse. He made me feel worse, but then when I was done, I felt better. And I was so confused by that. I'm like, wait, that sucked. And I died, but I'm better. And so I think a lot, obviously. So I started thinking, what is the deal with that? But if you think about anything great you've ever accomplished in your life, or someone you know, when people scale a mountain, that's obviously an extreme example. When someone's in the Olympics, why do they feel so rewarded? Because they chased the challenge. They did the hard thing. If you're not doing anything hard, if you're walking through life sedated and not putting yourself out there, not getting uncomfortable, not trying new things, not getting out of your comfort zone, then you're never going to get to feel that feeling. And it was that feeling that made the difference in my life. And when I started as a coach, my husband and I were in the worst place. Well, actually, I thought it was worst. It was worse at the time. And that was why Beachbody and Shanti made such a big difference, because my life was falling apart. He was more interested in drinking and partying than coming home or being married to me. So I would literally lie there every night, not every night, like every 2 nights, in utter turmoil. And I would cry. And I would be so full of anxiety and fear that I was going to get a knock on the door. So that knock on the door was going to either be that he was dead, that he was in jail, or that he had killed someone else. And I was literally just waiting for it, because I didn't know what else to do. I had prayed, I had begged, I had tried to change him. I had used every single ounce of energy in my body to change my reality. I wasn't being the tree. I was changing. I was trying to change. I was trying to change him. And then all of a sudden, when I got that program, I realized I wasn't doing anything for me except being so defeated. So I remember the day I was in my little spare bedroom, and I would sweat and punch, and I remembered I started to feel strong, so I was like fighting, and I didn't think I had any fight left. And it was in that time where I let go of my husband. I made a decision. I decided to stop deciding. I wasn't going to do this another night. I wasn't going to lay here another night. And I said, you know what? I'm taking care of me. I've got to make sure I'm okay, and I'm releasing him, because I can't fix him. I tried, and I tried harder than I could have. There was no regrets, but I tried, and now I've got to go do what I got to do. And it took a really long time, you guys, before it got better. Literally, a lot of people don't know this. I ended up, well, this is really exciting. I joined as a coach, and I won the Success Club trip. They did this random contest in the last quarter of the year where the top 10 coaches, their top coach, got to go on the Beachbody cruise. Now, you guys, I like free stuff, and I really like vacations. But once again, I'm crying over my wives. I don't have one. I'm supposed to be selling the shake, this elevator speech, and I'm even convinced I should keep it. How in the world am I going to win this? I wasn't even considering it. And my coach actually messaged me, and she's like, hey, you're in the running. I'm like, in the running for what? I'm running away is what I'm doing. And she told me about this contest. Well, I actually ended up winning. Now, don't think that I'm amazing. She didn't have any good coaches. I think I made Success Club 5, 2 months, and I made Success Club 10, 1 month. And it was all my family members that on my husband's side, because I wasn't telling my family. And we ended up winning. She has since gotten much better coaches. Sorry. But what I haven't told a lot of people is we went on that trip. And I don't know about you guys, if you ever try to escape reality with vacations, and then when you get on vacation, you realize you can't escape from it. Well, that was definitely the case. That was the first time I met Shanti. That was the first time I met Carl Deichler, Shalene Johnson. I think that was about it on that trip. That was on the boat. I was on top of the world. I was just like, how is this my life? I just started this journey, and everything was feeling so good until I actually was very sick too on the cruise, and you know, there's the signs that were like, "Don't get on if you have these symptoms," and I'm like, check, 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 getting on. Like, there's no way I wasn't getting on. Sorry guys, if I contaminate you while I'm here. So I remember being in my room, and my husband went to get me medicine. That's what we'll call it. So I was like, if I just had Vicks Vapor Rub, you'll know like Vicks Vapor Rub cures everything. Like, I just need to put Vicks Vapor Rub all over my body. And so he's like, they probably have some in the gift shop, and he went to go get the Vicks Vapor Rub. Well, he never came back. And I got a call at like 4 a.m., and it was like our routine. Like, we fight, we say, okay, we're getting divorced, now you can, so he can storm out mad and not come home. Like, that was our drill. So I knew it, but I was so sick, I was like, that's fine. Like, as soon as we get to first port, we can get divorced. Like, just go. Like, we don't have to do this drill. I'm too tired, I'm too sick, just go. Well, 4 a.m. the phone rings, and it was the head of security for the ship. And long story short, we got escorted off by the FBI after having a guard outside my room for the last 2 days because we weren't going to another port, and he was sequestered to our room being watched. And just a side funny note, because I get funny when I'm uncomfortable. They did check my personal development books for knives. Every time I came in the room, they were like, we need to see your books. And I'm like, you're literally like looking at John Maxwell for a knife. Like, I'm not gonna have a knife in there. I'm in there and I'm reading personal development on my trip. But, you know, it's just interesting because I think a lot of times we see success and we think one thing, and you don't know. Like, we don't always know. And that's when I decided, you know what, who cares about an elevator speech? Who cares about a why that makes you cry? What I know is that my life is making me cry, and this is making me better. And if I can go share that with someone, and if I can just show up here to this thing that brings me joy, that brings me happiness, and that makes me a better person, then how can I not go invite every single person to do that? I hate multi-level marketing. I still think most shake people are weird. I still like eBay, and if I could get it cheaper, I'd probably buy it there. But when your life changes, when you decide, you know what, I'm not gonna be that kind of coach, I'm gonna be me, but I'm gonna commit to the journey, I'm gonna find the pain that pushes me or the vision that pulls me and stay in the game until I get to where I wanna go. Because that wasn't the end. That wasn't the end of our struggles. One more story in closing, and something I haven't really shared either, but y'all are just inspiring me to. Max 30, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you're in the video. Max 30 is probably one of the worst memories of my life. When I got into Max 30, it was the most exciting moment. You know, literally, like, on my dream board was just to hang out with Shanti because I wanted in my top 5 to become your top 5. And he was already in my top 5 because I literally carried him around on a popsicle stick for years. Not kidding. And I was like, well, he's here. So when I got to go audition for that, literally by seeing a Facebook post, and my husband encouraged me, he's like, you know what? He saw it on Facebook, and it was in like 3 days. They said, you have to live in New York City. And he's like, we'll move to New York City. Okay, so I did. Well, so the day I got there, because I literally had to move there for a couple months, I went by myself because he had to stay and he had to work. And I remember getting off the plane and then getting on the wrong, oh, well, people say take the train, it's cheaper. Tell you guys. Well, I thought a train meant like a train, but apparently a train means subway. I'm like, hello, I'm from Florida. So I got on a train, and then they're like, you're not supposed to be on this train, this is like to Connecticut or something. So, and I've got all my suitcases, you know, but I don't care, I'm like so happy I got my stick. And I'm wearing also a pink jacket, which apparently nobody does in New York City. So I'm very tan because I just got off another Success Club cruise, and I'm wearing a pink jacket. So long story short, I'm like going through this town trying to find my hotel, which is a whole other story, I won't even go there. But it wasn't the hotel I should be staying at, I'll just say that. It wasn't designed for me. But it was on sale! Now I know why. But I went through the town, and I remember being so excited. And so I called my husband, I'm like, I'm here, like, let me just find this hotel. So I didn't even get to tell him about the hotel. And then I didn't hear from him that night. So I'm like, okay, well, this is weird, you know, it is Sunday fun day, we know how that goes. So I'm like, well, you know, but he would still call me, like, I'm here in New York City by myself. And then Monday morning was our first day of rehearsals, and I thought, okay, well, of course he's gonna call me now, like, it's my first day, this is huge. And it was still kind of rehearsals, like, you weren't even for sure getting in, so we were all very nervous. No word, Monday night, no word. So literally, I'm here like supposed to be living my dream, and he apparently had gotten a DUI and he was in jail and they couldn't get a hold of him. And it all ended up spiraling down from there. But the point was, at that moment, if I was the old Jessica, if I was the pre-Beachbody Jessica, if we want to call it Beachbody, because it's so much more than that to me, I have no idea how that whole scenario would have gone down. For one, I wouldn't have even been there. But no doubt my life was headed in that direction anyways. But to know that I had the personal development, the team, the support, I had the hope that this wasn't going to destroy me like it used to feel. So when I ask you guys today to decide what kind of coach you want to be, I want you to know, like, this is so much bigger than, like I said, a shake, a multi-level marketing company, even just a workout. Chase the challenge in your life, because the stronger you get in one area, the stronger you get in every area. So now when I wake up every morning, I get to know, guess what? No matter what comes at me, I'm gonna get through it. And I'm gonna get through it better than I thought, and I'm gonna go help somebody else get through their struggle. We all struggle. But to me, this is a valuable experience, because when you actually decide to stop stopping, when you decide to stop deciding, and when you decide you can chase the challenge because you are powerful, because when I started this, I didn't feel powerful. I was weak, I was defeated, and I was so disappointed in who I had allowed myself to become, because I was taking ownership. I knew I had allowed it. And some of you guys here, you're allowing it. You are capable of more, and you are not stepping into it by choice. Because literally your life is a choice. So that's what I want to leave you guys with today. Chase the challenge, make your decision, and decide what kind of coach you want to be.
Alright guys, you got to hear from Jessica. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys are lucky to be on an amazing, amazing team. And we look forward to meeting a lot of you in the very near less than a month. We're going to be over there. Alright guys, Super Saturday continues.
Thank you so much, Jessica. That was incredible. Something I forgot to do.